Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today is the long-awaited episode 3 of the Practical Skills Minecraft series. I know, it has been absolutely donkey's years since the last episode, and I do apologise for that. However, I have got some fantastic news for you, and that is that I plan to do more of these kind of videos. But I do sort of need to know whether you actually enjoy them or not, so it would really help me out if you could head down to the comments section, give it a like and a cheeky favourite, and even post down a comment saying what you want to see me do in the next episode. That would be really helpful. But anyway, in this one we are going to be taking a look at something really quite special, and that is this automatic tree farm. It completely destroys trees. It is so fast, very efficient, and I absolutely love it. So let's take a closer look. Now, to get things started, I'm going to give a very quick explanation of the design, go through some of the technicalities, and then give you a walk around with the redstone and finally get on with the tutorial. So to start things off, like I said, we're going to give an explanation. It is an automatic tree farm. That probably should have clicked in your head. However, not in the conventional sense, because it's not going to break the blocks for you. Unfortunately, in Minecraft, it is very hard to break the blocks and store them easily without using things like withers, creepers, TNT, or other such mobs that I don't want to get involved with in this design. Instead, it pushes the wood blocks along and into a large and easily mineable block. Now, that may sound a little bit odd because you are still going to have to mine it eventually, but mining a large block of wood is far easier than going off into the forest and taking out a bunch of trees. This allows you to get 10 stacks of wood well under 15 minutes, which is far harder to do if you're going to take out a forest. Now, this design runs through 3 different stages to allow it to work. We have got tree growth and detection, we have got the wood pushing, and also we have got the leaf crushing. Now, as far as the tree growth goes, it is very simple. We just place a sapling in front of a bone meal rapid firing dispenser and the tree will grow into a proper tree. And also we will have a bud detector that will detect if a tree grows and it will fire a signal into the system. And that is where the wood pushing happens. We have got a double piston extender that then pushes our tree across, and that will feed into a piston feed tape which will end up in our large block storage. Now, as far as the leaf crushing goes, we have got a bunch of pistons facing inwards around the tree chamber, so when the tree grows they will all pulse inwards and then retract, crushing all of the leaves so we can gather up all of the saplings. They will fill it into chests so that you can pick up some of the spares. I'm sure you have had enough of me whittering on, so let's take a look at this build in action. So all we have to do is head into our planting area. Looks something a little bit like this. You can see in here is the tree chamber. There's a lot of wood in there. But anyway, all you have to do is flick it on. You will see our rapid firing dispenser turns on, and there is bone meal in there, and that is actually filling up. It doesn't get used unless there is something in front of it. That is a common misconception. But anyway, if you place down our sapling, you can see it grows into a tree and gets pushed across. So then we can just hold down right click and you can see trees are being placed and pushed along, and we're just getting so much wood a second just being pushed across into our large storage area. So I'm going to do this for a little bit longer and then I'll get right back with you. I've been using this for a little while now and we have got ourselves quite a bit of wood, I am sure. So all we have to do is turn this off. As you can see, there are a bunch of hoppers inside of the tree chamber, and these are just to pick up any stray saplings or apples that happen to fall onto the floor. And you can see we have quite a large amount of them. That is from various different tests and things like that, as well as this one that we just did here. But anyway, let's just head out round here and take a look at how much wood we've got. And as you can see, it is all just over here in a nice big block, so we could just turn up with our diamond efficiency 5 axe and just go right on through this, gather it all up, and we would be happy. Tons and tons of wood. Now, obviously, it goes without saying that this is a fairly large project. It is going to take quite a lot of time and also quite a lot of resources. So I would suggest thinking about it before you just set off. You don't want to get halfway done and realise actually you're a little bit in too deep. But obviously, if you do manage to finish this, you are going to end up with a fantastic wood farm that is going to produce absolutely loads of it. You're going to have endless supplies. Imagine the kind of things that you can do with it. You could create loads of chests, hoppers, doors, crafting benches. I don't know, the possibilities are almost endless anyway. But if you don't actually want to build it, you just want to take a closer look at it, then of course there is a world download and an MC edit schematic in the description below so that you can check those out for yourselves. And for those that are actually planning on building it, then good luck to you, and let's begin this tutorial. So you want to get things started with an 8x9 area. That's right, 8x9. It is 8 blocks wide and 9 blocks deep. And the first thing that we are going to do is do the back leaf crusher, which may seem a little bit odd. but I will explain why in a couple of seconds. So you want to go 2 blocks up like this, and then place 5 sticky pistons going across like this, all of which with wood blocks on the front, preferably oak wood. In fact, I think this will only work if these blocks are oak wood, because they are within the zone in which the tree checks for any blocks. Then you just want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then fill in all of this area with the sticky pistons and place all of the oak wood blocks on their faces. So I briefly mentioned earlier about the tree check zone, in which a tree checks for any blocks in the 5x5 area around it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add in that 5x5 area, and it starts from those blocks there, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we can just fill in this whole area with blocks. At the minute, they are probably going to get taken out eventually, but there we go. And in the center of those, of course, is going to be our block in which we are going to place down our tree. But now we are going to add in some sticky pistons facing inwards like this. These are the ones that are going to push our tree across. So let's just place those ones down like that, going right the way up to the top of our pillar. And then on this side, we want to do the same thing again with the leaf crushers. So you just want to place a sticky piston here and then go 4 blocks along like this. We're going to be skipping out that one and just place all of those sticky pistons inwards. Once again, we want to go up to 7 blocks high. So I believe that is 5, 6, and 7. Basically, it should be the same height as everything else. And then once again, on the face of those, we are going to be placing our wooden blocks. Once again, has to be oak wood. Next to our double piston extender, the side with only 4 pistons, we want to go down here, and as you can see, we've got 2 blocks here that aren't being used, so we just want to fill those in with wood. And that is pretty much the tree chamber done. Now we just have to wire up all of the pistons for it, so not that hard, is it? So for our double piston extender, you want to get your half slabs out and place half slabs like this, and then skip a level, half slabs like this. Of course, all of these are upside down. You check that by placing redstone dust on the top. But then we skip a level, half slabs, and skip a level, and we got ourselves half slabs. On top of all of these, you just want to place an L shape with redstone, and then down here you just want to go a block below and place a block like that. And then once again, it is alternating upside down half slabs, so a bit like this, and you should be able to place redstone dust on top of all of these, and you can see that the redstone sort of skips up and down the levels, which means that eventually it will get to the top here, and you just want to place a block so that this redstone runs into it. While we're over here, we might as well do this leaf crusher over here. So you want to go down to the bottom and place blocks starting from the second piston up, and they want to come out to there. And then you just want to place a block here with redstone dust like this, and then you want a repeater, set it to 2 ticks with redstone running across like that, and then repeat the same thing again. So blocks along like this, running up to here, and then create that sort of little swerve. Blocks like that, a repeater, and then redstone dust running across. And you just want to do that again, like this, with your redstone, and then your repeater, and your redstone dust. And unfortunately, we're going to have to do it once again, because of the way that these pistons are laid out. So there we go, we just go like this, and for this one, you're going to need an extra half slab with redstone dust on top, create the swerve, and then repeater, and redstone dust in like that. Heading over to the other side now, you just want to place a block with a repeater, set it to 2 ticks, and then repeat the same thing again. That is blocks, repeaters, all the way up to this top piston here. And then once again, we're going to be grabbing the half slabs and creating the alternating half slab pattern. So there we go, that one's upside down, and that one's upside down. That's upside down, and this bottom one, it can just have a block next to it, so you just want to place redstone dust going all the way up like this. And for those of you who don't know, if I haven't explained already, this redstone will actually run up this line like that, because all of these blocks are transparent, so it can sort of just zigzag, and it will find its way to the top. For the leaf crusher on this side, you just want to place a block, and then another block out like this, and carry out that line all the way across there, and then place a repeater, which will be running into redstone dust that runs along like that. So once again, it's just a line of blocks running into a block with a repeater, and then your redstone dust, and repeat the same thing again. So that is block there, repeater, and redstone dust. And again, you're going to have to do it once more, because you know the way that these pistons have laid out. So there we go, and you're going to have to add in a second half slab here. So just a half slab like that, then redstone dust running into that block with a repeater and redstone dust. And there we go, that is your second leaf crusher done. Now, believe it or not, we have got all of the redstone in place for each set of pistons here. So now we can just head down to the bottom and fill in any of the gaps. So that's a gap, and I like to fill this space just because it looks nicer. And then round the top here, we can actually place in our roof. I like to do it like this. You can do it however you want. It just gives a nice 3x3 window into the tree farm. So there we go. We have got our glass in place, and well, it's looking pretty complete already. Onto this other side now, we have to add in our wood pusher, and the way that we're going to do that is just placing a line of regular pistons running up like this on this side here, and then over here where we have got our little leaf crusher, it's only 4 pistons along. You just want to place a block at the end of the line and then 2 blocks like that. So repeat that all the way up, block at the end of the line, 2 blocks up like that, and that will be enough for this one actually. So then you just want to place redstone dust on each of these blocks and a repeater, set it to 2 ticks on each of these as well, and that will do ya. To the left hand side of your double piston extender, you just want to head down to the bottom and take out your middle piston and this left hand piston here, and you just want to place a block with a redstone torch on the side of it. Take out this block and replace it with a half slab and place redstone dust on top. That is going to basically act as our block update detector. And then over here you just want to take out that block and eventually this piston over at the back here and place a dispenser facing inwards like that, and then you can replace this block here. The next little detail to add in is you need a transparent block of some sort, be it glowstone or glass, and then just a line of logs going all the way up like this. And this is actually the thing that is going to push your tree across. Obviously, because it is made of wood, the tree doesn't actually check for that, so it is fine. The trees will grow in here alright just because this is made of wood. If you made it out of something else, aka stone or iron, then it wouldn't work, and you've been a bit silly because this whole farm won't work. No trees will grow, so just make it wood. Make it wood. Now you want to go down to this back side and find your dispenser here. You want to take out the block underneath it and place a dropper facing upwards into that dispenser. And obviously that is going to be running the items in through. And then you can take out all of these blocks here and just place a line of hoppers like this and just sort of find the hole in which this comes through and just place a hopper running in like that. And then you want your chest right here. It's going to be quite difficult to place all of this in. So then you just want to place another hopper, and then your chest, and then a hopper, and then a chest, and a hopper, and chest, hopper, chest, and then once again you can add another one at the top here if you so please. But there we go. That is going to be your bone meal storage. So it comes out at the top because that's quite nice and easy and accessible. You can just ender pearl up here. If you want it to be flush with the roof, then of course you can just do this normal chest, and that is going to provide you with quite a bit of storage for bone meal. So it's quite helpful. Sticking down here, you just want to take out these 2 pistons and place redstone torches like this, and one on this side as well. Place 2 blocks on top of those torches and another block on this side, and then you're going to place your redstone dust. And this is obviously going to make a very loud and annoying noise, so I've turned off my sound so that you can't hear it, but that is going to be firing off into this dispenser and also the dropper facing upwards into it, which means that you've got yourself a mini item elevator. And the way that you turn it off is just by powering this redstone like that, so it's quite nice and easy. To make life easier for this next bit, I would suggest taking out all of the floor blocks that you have down here. It may seem a little bit counterproductive, but it will make sense in a second. So now what we're going to do is we are going to add in our sticky piston down at the bottom here, and this is going to be what is going to detect when a tree grows, because when a block is placed down here, obviously this is going to become powered, which means that we can bud power this piston. So if we head round the back here and place a repeater running out from here, you can see that is flickering, and redstone dust like this, that will constantly update this piston. So if we place down a block, you will see that it extends, and that means we can take an output from it, which is pretty helpful. Now on the face of this piston, we want to place a redstone block, and then you just want to place a piece of redstone dust here and a piece of redstone dust right there, and then another one like that, a repeater running into a block with redstone dust on the top, and you can see that this goes up into this circuit. That works just fine. If we go over to the other side, we can do the same thing, so that will just be redstone dust there, a repeater running into a block with redstone dust on the top, and you can see that also runs up into this system, which means that yes, that is all going to be connected. On to the finishing touches, we just want to head round the back here over to our crazy spazzing out redstone, and we're finally going to turn that off by placing some blocks like this. And then this is going to be our input line, so you can wire this out to any way that you like to. I just like it out over the front, so you just want to place a lever, and then redstone dust going all the way across, and a repeater running into this block here. And then you can flick that and you will see that the whole thing turns off. This will stop detecting things like trees, and that is just fine. Now we're going to replace all of the floor, but instead of using blocks, we're going to use hoppers. Now I like my chests to be out by the front. We want one chest over here and one chest over there, and we can take out that block and go around this side. Then you just want to place hoppers, all of them running into that chest there. So you just click on those hoppers by shift clicking, and that should do it. Now on this side it's a little bit more peculiar, because we actually have to deal with this hopper here. We want to cover that up, and that means that no items or saplings should flow into the hopper that runs into this bone meal dispenser here. But instead of that, apart from that, this should all be hoppers once again. So you just want to place hoppers in like this, running into the chest, and then a bunch of hoppers running inwards like that. But you want to avoid that redstone block, simply because it's not necessary to have a hopper over it, because it's probably going to get all of the saplings stuck. So we just want to place a block like that, but that should do it. If you want to give it a quick tester without placing a tree, because that would involve putting all the bone meal in, and that would be quite annoying, all you have to do is just turn it on. You can see all of our clocks at the back here turn on, and then place down a block, and you should see that all of the leaf crushers will fire, and also your block gets moved across, which means that your tree would have been moved across. So it looks like our design is actually working right now, which is a bit of a relief. As I mentioned earlier on in the video, the chest for the bone meal is actually at the top here. So if we just click all of that in like that, and we'll just check that we have the actual machine on, you can see that there is already bone meal flowing into the dispenser. And as you can see, because there is nothing in front of it, the bone meal is not getting used. Like I said, that is a very common misconception. There is no waste here. It looks like things are coming out, but they actually aren't, and you can see that. But anyway, this is the moment of truth. Let's take a look here. So we go inside and we place down our sapling, it grows, and then it gets pushed across. And there we go. Our tree farm is now working. Let's see if the little wood pusher is still working. So we'll place down another tree. This is quite fast action. And yes, it looks like the wood is being pushed across as well. All good. So now your tree farm is completely done. At least the mechanism for it is. If you actually want to store it in a giant block like we've got over here, then you're going to have to do some more fandangled stuff. But don't worry, the hard part is done. This is an absolute breeze compared to what you've just gone through. So what you want to do is, starting out from just below this block, in line with these bottom pistons, you want to go a block out like this and place a line of blocks going upwards just like that. And then over here you just want to place 2 blocks with a block like this and a block here. This repeater, you want it to be set to 4 ticks, and then another repeater set to 1, and you just want to repeat the same thing again. So like this, and just going all the way up, creating these sort of shapes. And you can stop on this one right here, and once again it is just repeater, set it to 4 ticks, repeater, set it to 4 ticks in the middle, and repeater, set it to 4 ticks. And then just a repeater, 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 running into redstone dust. And there we go. That is the first part done. I made a little bit of a mistake there, ladies and gentlemen. You don't actually need this top part at all. I made my piston tower a little bit too high, so all you need is to go up to this level here, because obviously this top piston is in line with these pistons, and if we did have a piston up here, it would never be used. So you might want to correct that quickly. It's not going to cause any big problems, it just saves on resources. From this piston here, you want to place 2 temporary blocks, and then you want to place a piston facing in this direction. You should see that it will miss all of the main mechanisms, and you just want to count to 12. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Should be in line with this line of pistons back here, just as a checker. And then you just want to push these all the way up to the top of your piston tower, and you just want to fill in that whole area, as you can see back there. Once you've got your giant wall of pistons in place, you just want to place a block like this with redstone dust, another block, and then a block here with a repeater running into an extremely long line of redstone. It is going to run all the way across like this, and you just want to place your redstone dust across like that. It's quite a long one, and you just want to repeat that for all of your layers. So you just want to place blocks like that, and then another block, repeater, and the blocks and then the redstone, and you just want to go right the way up to the top of your wall of pistons. So I'll quickly do that now. I'm sure that most of you just went up to this height. Unfortunately, that means that these top pistons aren't going to extend, and the way that we work around this is just by placing blocks up like this and then repeating the same thing once again. So that is repeater and then your long line of blocks with your redstone dust on the top. I know it isn't actually level with the top line of pistons, but due to the bud effect and the fact that pistons update each other, these piston extending will actually update these pistons and they will also extend, so it will work like a charm. And that means that this should actually allow you to push all of your wood into a very large block so that you'll be able to mine it efficiently. Just as a really quick heads up, to prevent any future breakages, I would suggest going down to the bottom here, and where these two pistons sort of junction, you can place a line of obsidian or chests or furnaces or any immovable object so that they won't get pushed into the redstone, because obviously if this line of redstone breaks, it's just gonna bugger up your system a little bit, and that's no good. Sorry guys, I made a little bit of a mistake. You need to set all of these repeaters here to 2 ticks, and that will give it a correct amount of time to get across. Now, I've been doing a bunch of testing on the design that I built in the tutorial, and by the look of things, I got everything correct apart from that little repeater issue there, in which these repeaters had to be set to 2 ticks because otherwise it would sort of lock up the system and that would cause some problems, which obviously we don't want. But unfortunately, that is all I've got time for today, ladies and gents. I hope that you did enjoy this video, you learned something new, and perhaps even you got yourself a brand new tree farm, which is quite exciting. So if you did enjoy it, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.